I know you guys want to get out and enjoy your spring break, so 4 problems, and just to give you a sneak preview of what's going to be on the next test. So something pretty basic. A little bit harder than this, but not too bad. So let's take a look at this. I've got 5 times the absolute value of x plus 7 is equal to 20. So first things first, step number 1, get the bars isolated. So think of this problem as 5 times the bars. I want to use my inverse operations to do algebra before algebra. So I'm going to rewrite the problem. 5 bars, basically. 5 times the bars is equal to 20. So now I'm going to undo that times 5 by dividing both sides by 5. And now I've got the absolute value of x plus 7 is equal to 4. Okay? So if another thing that dawned on me, if it makes more sense to get a highlighter and just highlight the bars so that you can picture this as your own. 5 highlighter is equal to 20, get highlighter by itself. Okay? So now I'm going to see the absolute value of x plus 7 is equal to 4. Is this problem solvable? Yes. So I'm going to split this particular equation into 2 parts. Either x plus 7 is equal to 4, or x plus 7 is equal to negative 4, and I account for both solutions. So let's start with the right side. X plus 7 is equal to 4 means I can subtract 7 from both sides and get x equals 4 minus 7 is negative 3. But that's not the only solution. Let's solve for the other side now. X plus 7 is equal to negative 4. So I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. And then x equals negative 4 minus 7. That's x equals negative 11. So the two solutions are that x is allowed to be negative 3 or negative 7. Let's plug it in. So if I plug in negative 3 in for x, negative 3 plus 7 is positive 4. The absolute value of positive 4 is 4. 5 times 4 is 20, so that checks out. Let's plug in the other solution, x equals negative 11. Negative 11 plus 7, okay? Negative 11 plus 7 is negative 4. The absolute value of negative 4 is 4. 5 times 4 is also 20, so that's another way to get the solution set. Let's take a look at number 2. So a lot of people get confused about this. Well, absolute value is equal to negative. Hold your horses. Hold on a second. We can't make that conclusion until the bars are isolated. So first things first, if I get algebra before I do algebra, remember this is negative 6 times the bar. So I'm going to highlight this part just to make sure that we're clear. So if I highlight the inside, I've got negative 6 times the bars. So I'm going to undo to get the bars isolated. If I want to get rid of that times negative 6, I'm going to divide both sides of the equation by negative 6. So that makes this, finally, the absolute value of x plus 3 is equal to a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So negative 48 divided by negative 6 is positive 8. Now, is this problem solvable? Yes. So I'm going to split this equation into 2 parts. So I've got x plus 3 is equal to 8, or x plus 3 is equal to negative 8. Let's solve for the right equation. X plus 3 equals 8 means I'm going to undo the layers of x by subtracting 3 from both sides. So that makes 8 minus 3 equal to 5. But is that the only solution? Nope. I got to solve for the backwards equation. So x plus 3 is equal to negative 8. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. And that gets me x is equal to negative 3 minus 8, or negative 11. But what if I don't believe you? I've never trusted you. I've never, ever believed you at your word. So let's plug in x equals 5, because that's one of the solutions. 5 plus 3 is 8, positive 8 to be exact. The absolute value of positive 8 is 8. Negative 6 times positive 8 is negative 48. So x equals 5 is legit. Let's plug in x equals negative 11 now. Negative 11 plus 3 is negative 8. And the absolute value of negative 8 is positive 8. Negative 6 times positive 8 is negative 48. So that's also legit. They both check out. So the two solutions are x is equal to negative 11 or negative 5, or x equals negative 11 or x equals positive 5. Two more and then we'll call it a day, and I'll wish you guys a happy spring break. See if you guys can do these two problems independently by pausing the screen. So let's take a look at number 3. So we've got 9 times the bars equals 72. So now I'm going to look at the bars and say this is 9 times bars. Just highlight that really quick. Get ahead. Yeah, it's running out of ink, but you get the idea. Okay, so the absolute value of x minus 12 is in the, those are the bars, but I want to get rid of this times 9 in front. How do I get rid of multiply by 9? I'm going to divide both sides by 9. And now I've got the absolute value of x minus 12 is equal to 72 divided by 9, which is 8. So now I've got the absolute value of x minus 12 is equal to 8. Is this problem solvable? Yep. I need to split this into two separate equations. So either x minus 12 is equal to 8, or x minus 12 is equal to negative 8. So let's take a look at the right equation. I got x minus 12 is equal to 8, so how do I undo that layer of x? I need to undo minus 12 with plus 12 on both sides, because negative 12 plus 12 cancels out to form 0, x plus 0, or x. Sorry about that. And so then 8 plus 12 is equal to 20, so x is equal to positive 20. Then I have to do the same thing. How do I undo that layer of x? I'm going to add 12 on both sides and get negative 12 plus 12 becomes 0. So x plus 0, or x, is equal to negative 8 plus 12, which is positive 4. So in order for this solution to work, x is equal to 20 or x is equal to 4. Let's plug in 20. 20 minus 12 is positive 8. The absolute value of positive 8 is still positive 8. 9 times 8 is 72. So x equals 20 is legit. Now let's plug in x equals 4. 4 minus 12 is negative 8. But the absolute value of negative 8 is positive 8. 9 times positive 8 is 72, so that checks out. Finally, the last problem. Negative 12 times the absolute value of x minus 9 is equal to negative 60. So I need to undo that times negative 12 layer by dividing both sides of the equation by negative 12. So if I divide both sides of the equation by negative 12, that cancels out, leaving me with the absolute value of x minus 9. Negative 60 divided by negative 12 is positive 5. Is this problem solvable now? Yeah. So I'm going to split this into two equations. Either x minus 9 is equal to 5, or x minus 9 is equal to negative 5, and we're going to solve both equations. So let's solve the right side. If x minus 9 is equal to 5, I need to undo that minus 9 layer by adding 9 to both sides, leaving me with x is equal to 5 plus 9, or 14. And over here, I've got x minus 9 is equal to negative 5. If I add 9 on both sides, I get x equals negative 5 plus 9, or positive 4. So either x is equal to 4 or x is equal to 14. Let's plug them both in. Let's plug in x equals 14. 14 minus 9 is positive 5. The absolute value of positive 5 is still positive 5. Then negative 12 times positive 5 is equal to negative 60. That is true. Let's plug in x equals 4 now. 4 minus 9 is negative 5, but the absolute value of negative 5 is still positive 5. Negative 20 times positive 5 is now negative 60, and that's what we wanted. So two ways of getting the same exact solution set. Happy spring break, stay safe, wash your hands, and I hope to see you guys in 10 days.